Hello everybody, welcome back. I'm Inside Elections. Today is Monday, January 12th, 2026, and today we're going to be talking about this breaking news coming out of the state of Alaska, that former Representative Mary Peltola jumps into the Alaska Senate race. That's right, Mary Peltola is running for the Alaska Senate. You might say, huh? What is this? What does this have to do with anything? She's a Democrat in the state of Alaska. She's not going to win. Alaska is a Trump plus 13 state. What I'm telling you is that Mary Peltola can win, and she will win. I'm going to say that she will win. In 2022, the first time she was elected to the House, it was a special election. She won by about 3 points. That was in 2022. A red year, not a red wave year, but a red year. She won by 3 in a special election. But come November 2022, in the on-cycle election, she won by 10 points. She's an extremely popular Democrat in the state of Alaska. And yes, it's a Trump plus 13 state, but the state has shown that they will vote for popular Democrats. And Alaska is interesting. Is an interesting state. Sorry, I don't actually have these numbers up, but you can research them on your own. But Alaska, over the vast majority, I believe it's 24% of registered voters in Alaska are Republicans, 13% or so are Democrats, and the independent vote is well in the majority. And that's why Mary Peltola was elected to House and why she will be elected to Senate in 2026, because Alaska voters don't vote strictly on party. They vote on the person, the people running. Yes, it's a conservative leaning state, but it's not made up of it's not leaning towards Republicans, it's leaning towards conservatives. And Mary Peltola is popular amongst Democrats in the state, amongst moderates in the state. She's almost the Democrat Susan Collins in a state that overwhelmingly votes not for her party. In 2024, it voted for Trump by 13 points. In 2020, it voted for Trump by 10. 2016, voted for Trump by 15. 2012, voted for Mitt Romney by 14. McCain by 22. Bush by 26, etc. Bush by 30. It's a red state. And on the Senate level, it is as well. Lisa Murkowski won in 2022 by 7.4. But in that same race, in that same exact race, because Alaska is an at-large state, the Senate race, the presidential race, the House race, the governor race are all the same thing. They're on the same ballot. And in the race where Lisa Murkowski won by 7 points, Mary Peltola won by 10. Alaska voters will split from their party to vote for a candidate that they like, a candidate like Mary Peltola. And she's facing up against Dan Sullivan. In 2020, the last time he was elected to Senate, he won by 12. He won by 13, I mean. That's roughly on par with Donald Trump's margin. And Mary Peltola, if and when she does unseat Dan Sullivan, it will show that Alaska, just like in 2022 on the House level, that Alaska is willing to elect Democrats if it's Mary Peltola. Simply put. And this is not just me. We can look at I know predictor websites are not the best way to predict a winner in an election. We can actually look here look at the 538 projection in the presidential election. They had Kamala Harris winning Wisconsin. They had Kamala Harris winning Michigan. But they had Donald Trump winning the presidency. They're not the best predictor, but they are accurate. And they have Mary Peltola ahead in this race. They have Mary Peltola ahead against Dan Sullivan, the incumbent Republican senator. They have her at a 49% chance of winning, him at a 47% chance of winning. And this is not just odds that a website says. These $121,000, almost $200,000 have been put into this market, saying that they think this candidate is going to win. So this is not smoke and mirrors. This is what is actually happening. We actually have polls from this race too. Not many polls, and the dates are scattered. We have 2 polls from October, 2 polls from July, and 1 from 2023. We're not even going to talk about this last one. That was from 3 years ago. It was about this Senate race, the 2026 Senate race, yes, but we're not going to discuss that. What I find interesting is the latest two polls show Mary Peltola up. Data for Progress has Mary Peltola up by 1 point in this race. They have a 3% margin of error. The undecided vote is extremely low. But in the Alaska Survey Research poll, this is the most accurate pollster in Alaska. It's basically the Ann Seltzer before 2024. It has Democrats, Mary Peltola up by 2 points. Polls, and we'll talk about that later. And then from July, they also did polling, Data for Progress and Alaska Survey Research, the same polls. They had Dan Sullivan up by 5. That was in July. That was 6 months ago. 7 months ago, You can see the shift. In July, Donald Trump was still not popular. His approval rating was underwater. And midterms are a referendum on the President of the United States. They simply are. In 2020, in 2022, it was Biden's midterm. Republicans, what is happening? In 2022, it was Biden's midterm, and Republicans gained seats in the House. In 2018, it was okay. I don't know what's going on with the website, but you get the point. Midterms are referendums on the president. Donald Trump is unpopular. He was less unpopular in July, which is why Dan Sullivan was ahead. Now he's more unpopular. Mary Peltola is ahead. And these are from October. Who knows what the polls are going to be in the coming weeks, because now that Mary Peltola has announced her candidacy for this race, I guarantee you there's going to be polls out of this now. Not just polls from 3 months ago, but new polls showing what is happening. And also we can look at the predictor websites. These are polls with who administer the aggregate of the rating of how likely a state is to go to a certain party. Race to the White House says this is a tilt R state, meaning that Dan Sullivan is still slightly ahead, but by a small margin, by about 1 point. The other three inside elections, hey, that's sort of like my name. The Colorado Court and Larry Sabado's crystal ball have it as lean R. That's still not a great margin, and Democrats still have close to a year for Mary Peltola to campaign, to fundraise. Actually, we can show our fundraising numbers. They should be here. Okay, they're not here because she just entered to this race this morning, but they'll be up here soon. She's going to raise a ton of money, I guarantee you. And Democrats have months to campaign for Mary Peltola. They have months to get her name out there, to let everybody know in Alaska that she is running. That she wants to be their senator, not Dan Sullivan. And this news actually somewhat broke about a week ago. She didn't, about a week, 6 days ago, she didn't announce her candidacy for the Senate race, but Axios got the scoop about how she was set to announce her candidacy. I'm not logged in, but you get the point. Axios on January 6th, 2026, Axios got the scoop about Mary Peltola entering into the Senate race sometime this month, sometime the month of January. Didn't know when. Turns out it's today. And because of this, Alaska is going, I believe with all my heart that Alaska is going to go to the Democratic Party ahead of 2026. It's going to shrink the Republican majority in the Senate even further, if not flip the Senate towards the Democratic Party. That's enough of my talking for now. If you enjoyed this video, I encourage you to like the video, to subscribe to my channel. I upload daily. I upload the newest election news on redistricting and just elections like this in general. And yeah, I hope you have a great day.